Evening, ladies and gentlemen, it's 6 p.m., December 11th, Tuesday, 6 p.m., as I said. Grand Rapids Municipal Town Board meeting is in session. Andrew Simon will be a few minutes late this evening. First item on our agenda will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 2, approve agenda for the meeting. Any questions? Item 3, approve minutes from the following town board meetings. October 4th, October 10th, October 16th, October 25th, October 30th, November 8th, November 12th, November 13th, and December 3rd. Motion by Bill, second by Dan. Any discussion?
I'm just glad I didn't have to type all of them.
Yeah, I wish I could say so.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 4, public comment period. People wishing to address the board limited to 2 minutes each, with public comment period limited to be no more than 30 minutes. Go ahead, Shirley. I can tell you that I did have communication with him, and he said it was being taken care of, so that's all I know. That's all I can tell you.
And item 18, when you get to that one, could you give an in-depth explanation of that?
Yeah, that's, okay, let me just check, see if this is Andrew. No. Anybody else in the audience? Register your deeds, you have anything, or just visiting today? Well, wonderful, we appreciate you coming. See what small government is all about. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on then to item 5, monthly reports from departments. We'll go with Chief Bob Pyatt first for Fire Department. I was trying to say what I should say, Robert or Bob. I was.
Good evening. Our report for the last month. We're currently staffed with 39 fire and EMS members, 2 non-structural firefighters, and 6 EMS members for a total of 24 trained to do EMS. We're always looking for good quality new members in fire or EMS. If interested, get a hold of the town hall or the fire department. We'd love to talk to you. Since the last report to the board, the department has responded to 24 calls for service consisting of the following. We had 19 911 EMS calls, and the fire department went out 5 times this last month, consisting of a mutual aid with Rudolph Fire Department, 1 car accident. We got called out to 2 controlled burns and 1 chimney fire. This last month for EMS, our EMS squad went to Pittsville to participate in the LifeLink 3 training that they had out at Pittsville Elementary, with the LifeLink is the chopper service that's running out of Marshfield now, that Spirit's running out of Point. For fire training, both of our training sessions, we trained out at our training house on 90th Street. We trained on ladders, search and rescue techniques, and roof venting operations with our ladder truck. This last meeting, we held one monthly department meeting, 1 department officer meeting, 2 fire training meetings, and 1 EMS meeting. We just have our ongoing smoke detector program, and our address sign program is ongoing. Since the last report, there's been no injuries.
Any questions? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know, but I can send you the article. You see where, I know this isn't in the town, in Wood County, but in Washara County, the Hancock Fire Department is going under, and there's a couple guys trying to rescue it. I'll send you the article.
Okay, one of my sales reps is the chief down there, and he didn't say anything a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah,
but
I
I'll have
get the
to,
newspaper from down there. I will send you the article.
Yeah, Chuck Johnson's the chief down there, and he's also a salesman for Conway Fire Equipment.
Shirley, do you have a question?
Yeah, do you have an apparatus or whatever for resuscitation of dogs or animals?
No,
Or
our,
TV once.
we do not have anything for animals. Our former chief took a class in resuscitating animals, but I currently can't say I have anybody trained to do that.
Well, it's actually, has, was a mask and, just for, it was put on a dog.
Sure. I do not have any of that equipment currently. Yeah, Dan?
Bob, wasn't a week or so ago you did some truck maintenance, or did we have a truck detailing?
Oh, yeah,
Were you able to get everything done there, or was there,
no, a couple of Friday nights ago, we had a work detail night, and all 8 apparatus got hand washed and hand waxed and hand buffed. And tires shined and Rain-X put on the windows, so kudos to the members that showed up and helped with that to make the fleet look good. And then we will do that again in mid-April. We will have another one of those nights as well, but in the spring we'll also flush all the undercarriages to get all the salt out of the chassis as well.
so they were able to get them all done there?
Yes. Yep. A couple of our members came during the day, got things started, and then we had about 20 people show up on Friday night at 5 o'clock when they got out of work, and we worked till about 8:30 when we finally had all the work done.
Yeah, it was kind of planned to be 2 days, but there was enough people come up that got it done in one day.
Several members brought their children as well,
Yeah.
so we had kids waxing and buffing as well as firefighters.
Excellent.
So yes, I was very pleased. Like I said, we didn't have to show up on Saturday then. So
Any other comments, questions? If not, you did cover your EMS, or the safety department with no injuries, and we thank everybody again for being safe.
okay, thank you.
And now's the time to start wearing the cleats when the ice is, right?
Correct. Yep. Keep your
Keep your feet underneath you.
keep your exits cleaned out. So if we have a medical call, we can get you out, and or you can get out in the event of a fire.
All right, thank you. All right, Police Chief Mel Peterson, you are next.
Good evening, everyone.
After Amy, do you want to go
Okay.
over this?
Okay, for the Grand Rapids Police Department, the month of November, the Grand Rapids Police Department handled 390 calls for service, and that compared to 345 calls for service last November, 2017. That's about a 13% increase in calls, and once again, the town board members have a breakdown of those calls. The police department issued 59 traffic citations, 14 municipal ordinance citations, and 40 written warnings for the month. On November 1st, Chief Pyatt and I were part of a panel that spoke to students across the street at River Cities High School concerning the opioid epidemic in Wisconsin. Specifically, our panel focused on the reality and effect it has on our local community here. The students were very engaged in the discussion, and hopefully everyone involved took something from that discussion. On November 5th and 6th, Officer Merkus completed advanced roadside impairment driving enforcement, commonly referred to as A-Ride training, over at the Wausau Police Department. The A-Ride course is designed for law enforcement officers that meet the National Standardized Field Sobriety Testing, SFST standards, but want to be more proficient in the administration and evaluation of the battery of tests involved in those SFSTs. On November 7th, I attended the Wood County Drug Task Force third presentation in a series, A Path Towards Progress with Prescription Drug Abuse and Alternatives to Prescribing, which was held at McMillan Memorial Library. Dr. Doug Gallick, a physician with Wisconsin River Orthopedics, discussed how the nation has gotten into the current state of overprescribing and why there has been a recent shift in the way medications are being prescribed. It was an important presentation that gave everyone in attendance a better understanding of why prescription drugs heroin, methamphetamine, and other drugs have become such a prevalent issue in our communities and ways we are making progress to try and fight that epidemic. On November 28th, Officer Conover and I participated in a Code Red drill at Grand Elementary School in the town of Grand. This drill is conducted to practice procedures that are in place in the event of an active shooter incident or other crisis situation that would require the school to be put on lockdown. Staff and students reacted and performed the drill as they were instructed. Vehicles in the department are doing well outside normal maintenance. Our 2016 Ford Explorer has returned back to service after getting its fenders repaired from a deer strike, so we've got that one back. And once again, if anybody ever has any questions, concerns, or wants to stop in, doors are always open.
Any questions? William?
Yes, on that November 7th meeting at the library,
Yes.
I found that to be very interesting, and I hope they have more of them. I think what was remarkable is when people that, did drugs and stuff like that, total recovery, and it's nice to hear from them. Kind of a tearjerker there at the end, listening to those
Right.
people.
Right, exactly. So those are always good presentations. That's in coordination with the Wood County Drug Task Force that puts those on. So being an active member in that, I know they're always trying to get presentations like that for the public at McMillan and other parts, even at the north end up in Marshfield as well. So it's a they're very worthwhile presentations. So.
Any other questions? If not, thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you.
And we'll let Andrew
Sorry I'm late, folks.
take a seat.
I apologize for that.
Work calls. Amy Cook, Treasurer's Report.
Good evening. For the month of November, current month receipts were $233,020. Current month disbursements were $246,880. Cash on hand at the end of the month was $774,317 with $109,645 in checking and $354,053 in the repo account and $318,674 in the money market. And I also wanted to let you know that you will be receiving your tax bills at the end of the week in the mail. I'm also going to be collecting Monday through Thursday from 8 to 4:30, Fridays from 8 to noon, and then I do just take a lunch break from 1 to 2. Any questions on the report?
Nobody's applauding you, but I'll applaud you.
We like when the tax.
Yeah, I know.
At least 5 of us do.
I'm going to jump to item 30 and have Lisa read the election report. It's pretty interesting to see how many people vote at our elections.
This is for the November 6th general election. As of 20 days prior to the election, we had a total of 4,889 registered voters at that point. And then late registrants, which is the 20 days prior, between that 20 days, we got 41. And on election day, we had 245 people register. Total ballots cast was 4,144. Total number of election workers was 37. For the absentee voters, we had a total of 1,095 that were requested. 161 was by mail, 914 was in person, and we ended up getting 1,075 back, so only 20 didn't come back. Costs, notice for the paper was $49.63, absentee ballots postage $264.04, poll workers' wages for Monday, working on the absentees was $260, poll workers on election day, wages were $3,382.50, and meals were $120. And we ended up being at about 84%?
84.3.
84.3%.
Not the best in the county, but
Oh, it
some
wasn't the
people
best?
only have 89 people in there, and it was,
We far exceeded many.
That's
yes.
gotta be close to,
Oh, that is,
That was
that's
only like
excellent.
300 short of what the presidential was
Wow.
last time, so.
Yeah, and I wasn't even on the ballot, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I only voted twice.
All right, but anyway.
It was about $3,762. For the
About-
bus and one day.
That's about 80 cents,
Well,
about 80 cents per voter is about what it amounts to.
Mhm.
Well,
That's where I was going with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you.
sounds great. Any other comments on that? If not, we'll go on to the rest of the regular agenda items. Consideration and possible action of resolution 2018-31, which is adopting the town budget at a balanced cost of $3,239,111.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Patty,
No second.
second by Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye, any opposed? No opposed. Consider a possible action on resolution 2018-33. It's amending ordinance 70, licensing and regulations. These were passed through by our legislative committee, which is all members of the board, so they pretty much have been thoroughly vetted. Is there any questions, or is there a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2018-33.
I can second.
Motion by Dan, second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Any opposed?
we missed number 7.
I was wondering about that, because
Heard you say 32.
Yep. I took it out of order.
That's all right.
All right, well, I was gonna say, now, where was this one? Okay, then we'll drop back. Did we get all in favor on that? Did we?
Yes.
Okay, we'll go back to 7, where apparently my bifocals aren't working right. And that's resolution 2018-32, regarding ordinance 29, regulating fermented malt beverages and intoxicating liquor. Just some minor changes in language again.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2018-32.
Motion by Bill, second by Andrew. Any discussion on that now? Thanks for catching that. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Now we'll move to item number 9, possible action on 2018-34, amending ordinance 39, regulating the schedule of fees for forfeitures, primarily for building permit changes in fees.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2018-34.
Motion Andrew,
Second by Patty.
second by Patty. Any discussion?
So was there some amendments?
Yes,
And so-
somebody needs to amend that.
So would you like to amend your motion to add
You might not have seen the email.
Oh,
yet.
did you
have the
send that?
verbiage
Yeah.
for the hot tub state sale fees and removing ag building verbiage?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Okay, I'll change my amendment to change to add the hot tubs, stay the state steel charge,
And
and the remove the building verbiage for the agricultural.
I'll
Okay.
second that.
Motion by Andrew, second by Patty. Now any discussion? Now we're good? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 10, consider possible action on Quick Trip's application for annexing request for parcel 0700909AA to be annexed to the city of Wisconsin Rapids. It's between Quick Trip on 8th Street and the O'Connor chiropractic office building area. They bought pretty much close to 1 acre where they're going to expand their fueling system into. So,
Mr. Chairman, are you saying this needs a motion?
yes, according to our attorney, we need to make a motion to approve it, which means we are not going to contest it. And if we don't make a motion, that leaves our legal rights to contest the annexation.
But even if we contest it, there's nothing we can do to stop it.
You never can say never, because you could go all the way to the Supreme Court, I guess, if you wanted to contest it. I mean,
Mr. Chairman, I was there at the hearing on this, and I did contest it. I contested it for the fact, not on behalf of the town, because I didn't know if we had gotten a notice or not. But anyways, one of the things is when these trucks pull in, they're going to be pulling in a new driveway in this area off of Highway 13, and they're going to be exiting out on that street that is shared with the town of Grand Rapids.
9th Street.
9th Street.
Mhm.
They're going to use 9th Street both ways now. And so that's truck traffic. And I protested because it does not say this is a truck route. And is what people are going to be doing is going out of there with a big semi, coming up and going out that other road. You know, and then going south, if they, going north. And there was several other people that was contesting it also, but it did pass, just to let you know. And they were contesting it because of another opening onto 8th Street, making it very dangerous. But it was a unanimous vote of the city council to accept the annexation. If you need a motion here,
No, I understand the concern, Bill, and, you know, the traffic has been typically from their fueling trucks, have always been going right when I see them. In my own mind, I see the flow of the property, and why would you wanna go left and try to turn onto Peterson and then try to turn on 8? Because you have no stoplights at that intersection. The only stoplights you have is if you go to right, similar to what Walmart's traffic always goes.
Right, you're gonna
So-
go out to Griffith.
Go out to Griffith and then you're gonna go to the
You're gonna
stoplights.
go to the stoplights and you're gonna go there.
We get a lot of there's a lot of truck traffic that comes for Walmart deliveries. They come down around Griffith and then turn on either
It's
9th, 10th, 11th.
It's 13th at the, actually, just a little bit of history, Walmart paid for that road to get built.
They did.
Yeah, and it was made to truck traffic, and that's their exit from there.
9th Street doesn't have any reinforcement for truck traffic.
No,
At this time.
at this time.
Because they are gonna see, are they planning on putting semi parking for like semis?
No,
fueling in
well,
that area?
only, as I understand, when we had the conversation, it was just short term. When they fuel, they could pull off to the side and sit while they go grab their sandwiches, go.
So it's
There's
just
no
gonna be
intention of being,
parking.
there's no intention of being overnight parking. Correct, Bill?
but that was brought up also. People in that area want to know if there's gonna be trucks running all night or something like that. And there's nothing in the annexation rule that says they can't, but they'll try to prevent it.
Yeah. That's what I understand too. All right, was there a motion?
Okay, I'm gonna make the motion, but there's, what do we do about the amendments to it? It's the wrong address.
All we need to do, according to our attorney, Bill, the email said to reference the language that says the parcel number, the 0700. And they did do the DOT test or conversation that was not indicated in our initial paperwork. So the motion should be to include the lot number.
That's my motion.
Okay. Motion.
Second that.
And motion by Bill, second by Patty, and again, that lot number 0700909AA. Any other discussion?
As much as I would like to vote no on this, you know, it's developing that, and that is a busy area. There's a lot of vehicles, and I will be supporting it.
I think they're really looking for better safety flow for traffic, and it's pretty hectic some days at 7 in the morning especially.
Oh, boy.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed, thank you. Item 11, legislative went through a social media policy. We have the final results in front of you again. Is there any motion to move forward with it, or to take it back to committee, or what's your
I'll make
thoughts?
a motion that we approve the social media policy as presented.
Motion by Dan,
Patty, second.
second by Patty. Any other discussion on it?
I will say there was a lot of work that went into this policy, and however, it's kind of a constant revolving because the media is constantly changing. But I do think overall it's a good beginning.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. Item 12, consider possible action on the $10,000 contract with Southwood County Humane Society for 2019. Motion by, or I guess it can be discussion first if there's any discussion.
I would like to discuss some, under discussion. I'm a little disappointed that the Humane Society is not here for this, because we always have questions and concerns. And I'm not opposing it, but I like having a policy with the Humane Society. I like what they do, but I just think, in my opinion, this is only in my opinion, is the fact that I think people come in this township and surrender their dogs or a good place to drop them off, because we don't have to pay for it.
Okay.
A lot of those are ones that they get surrendered right to the place, right? And then they just count as ours. So if they get brought there and they don't tell them where they are, we end up with it, right?
Yeah, because it's in the town.
It's in the town.
Yeah. Which,
It doesn't seem right, but
Doesn't seem right.
I guess as long as we're under our $10,000, they're not coming back here for any more money. It didn't hurt the town any value.
no, this-
If the animal has a chip in it, they'll find out who the owner was and go back after him then.
and I know, Bill, we had the same concern last year. You had the same concern, I think, right?
Yes.
Correct me if I'm
Was
wrong.
there a motion on it? Did we have a-
No, we're doing
He asked for
discussion.
discussion
I asked if there's
first.
any discussion first.
And $10,000 is what we had budgeted, so,
And the same as last year.
right, so there was no increase.
Have they reached out to you and talked about coming to a meeting at all? Did we tell them not to come?
No, and we have told them the last probably 2 or 3 years to save time, that if you're not requesting anything different, no need to come.
And
So
that-
next year
and
we
that's,
can
I think,
email them all.
I think is
Right.
some of the problem.
Yeah.
So I think maybe next year,
We can request that they all.
that if we do have questions, we can ask the questions about how maybe the process is and how they handle if somebody surrenders them from another area, what research they do.
Go ahead, Dan.
So, this contract is a lot better than it was, 3-4 years ago, I will say that, but I too am very disappointed that they don't show up. They throw the same thing at us every year without really, a lot of support on it, and, I'm gonna be voting no for it.
I make a motion to approve the.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Andrew. The only discussion I'll have is I know at this period of time that they were doing this, they were between administrators, and he's now recently been hired. I think his name is Brett. Yeah, can't read his signature. But anyway, I met him and talked to him just recently, and he said he will be reaching out to us. So, all in favor, say aye. I'm an aye. Opposed? One opposed. Item 13 is consider possible action on the $150,000 2019-2020 contract with Bomar Appraisal, which is 50% is to be paid in 2019. And this is for the reval that the town is going to be forced to complete to get the equalized values in line with what sales records are. And while everybody gets concerned about the value of their house going up, when you just have more value into it, the rates go down. So it really it's, all things being equal, those that did a lot of remodeling into their houses, their values may go up. Those that stayed the same should stay the same or actually decrease.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019-20 revaluation contract.
I'll second that.
Motion by Dan, second by Patty. Any other discussions?
Yeah.
And one of the discussion is, I mean, we're really not forced into this, it's just that it's been a long time since we had a reval, and the longer you go on a reval, because we're not the 10% below and or the 10% above, the longer you go, the more it's gonna cost you to have it, so. I think we got a good price here, and I'm for it.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bill, but I thought he said that when we had our session that we were below 90% this time. But we weren't below it for multiple years. I think there is a kicker in there that says if you're 2 or 3 years below 90, you're forced to do it. We're just realizing, at least my opinion was realizing that it's time to do it. We haven't done it, so let's,
And we were close. I mean, I forget.
we are below 90 now.
We are below.
Below 90, but it was close.
It was
but-
close to doing it. And so we're doing 50% of the town this year and then 50% of the next year so that we spread out the cost of it.
Yes, but those values will not be changed. I mean, if half the town got changed, they will not be changed until everybody is complete, then it's gonna be all implemented. So it'll be 2021 will the actual, new values be used.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Mhm. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? No opposed. Item 15, consider the 41,894 budget to, nope, did I? Shank, I'm sorry, I just passed Shank up. That's what you get when you get long meetings, huh? Possible action on 9,200 contract with Shank for 2018 town audit, and this is a complete audit, Lisa, correct?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve that $9,200 contract with Shane.
And I can second.
And second by Patty, Dan first, second Patty, discussion?
So it's been several years since we had a complete audit, wasn't it?
It's been 2 years.
2 years, and that was when,
The year after I started.
right, we had a change of the clerk, and so we had the full one then we had 2 that was announced, okay.
So, with having a clerk and a treasurer, we don't need one every year.
We don't need to, no.
We don't even need to have an audit.
We don't, I believe, because we have separate, we wouldn't need to, but I mean, it'd be pretty foolish. I don't think anybody, a bigger town doesn't go without doing
Right.
one. I'm not sure what the exact law is, but
I just have this to say about audits and towns. Yeah, you know, at the county level, we have it a little bit different, but we have somebody on, but I think if we just had a financial person talk to us, I don't care if it costs $100 or $300, it could tell us about what we're doing at this audit, because I believe financial people could be on hold to go over one of these audits. I had the last audit gone over by somebody, and there's ways we could save money, and we don't do anything with the audit. The only time we ever did anything with an audit is when they found something discrepancy in the fire department, and we had to correct that.
Yeah, we responded to anything that they saw that was incorrectly posted or whatever. I think we had a double posting, which caused the records to be incorrect, but I totally believe that the audit is a vital portion of town government, even as small as we are. We're still dealing with $3 million worth of money, and that's, to me, is no small potatoes.
Nope.
As a
So-
percentage, I believe it's well worth the value. Again, I don't think we need the full one every year. And the other thing, as far as the fire department, yeah, they do include that in the audit. And it's not that they found any errors, they ask us to change our methods of doing some accounting because of the different accounts, I guess you wanna say, that they manage over there. So I think it was wise.
Do we get a motion?
you have a motion. Need a vote.
Yeah, Dan.
We had a motion and a
did
second?
first and Patty
Okay.
second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, aye. Any opposed?
Yes, I'm opposed.
No. Didn't hear you. All right, now it's 15, possible action on the $41,894 to the airport for the budget. And that budget is the same for the last 3 years, within a few dollars. The good news is, as I indicated to you later, at some point in time, we should start seeing stipends coming back to us as the airport makes money.
I'll make a motion to approve the support to the airport for the 2019, $41,894.
Motion by Andrew,
I'll second
second by Dan. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
it. Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? Item 16, consider possible action on $55,369 contract with the Horton Group for town's commercial auto liability property, VFD accident and sickness, LOSA, and workers' compensation insurance programs. Total of $55,000. I think, Lisa, did we get a slight decrease in what we
I
anticipated?
think it came in less, 5,000 less than what they had quoted and estimated, so.
So what was in the budget is $5,000 more than this, so We just inherited $5,000 to hopefully make next year's budget easier.
Or replace a gear in our car.
There you go.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract with the Horton Group for 2019.
Motion by Andrew, second by Arnie. Any discussion?
Does it pay, I shouldn't say does it pay, but is there any other quotes that you can get on this, or no? Is this one? Did
We
do that
have.
last-
We have, yeah,
Okay.
we tried, well, was it last year? I
Last
think
year.
you had,
It was last
and
year.
then 3 or 4 years ago, you had tried
We
all.
tried again and just didn't find anything that
Okay,
was
that's
any.
fine, just so that,
Mm-hmm.
keep them in mind.
You bet. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and aye, any opposed? No opposed. 17, consider possible action on the $107,216.18 paid to United Medical Response for the contract for 2019.
I'll make a motion that we.
Motion by Dan,
Second.
second by Andrew.
I just have,
Go ahead, Bill.
yeah, so this is the increase because we entered into a new contract with them. And, I mean, we have 10 years now
Right.
starting.
This, if I'm correct, is the last increase, and then we'll have 4 years at that guaranteed rate.
Right, this is still under the old contract.
This is the old contract.
Right. So to continue my discussion on it, I personally just think with this contract that we have it now, and just like the Humane Society, you know, they weren't here, they're not here now, and they weren't here when we voted on this, on entering into the contract and its extension. And I just think that was wrong. I really do. And you, Mr. Chairman, you're the one that spoke about this as if you were the ambulance board, and
I spoke as to being the board member that sits on the ambulance board, and that's the way I
you
spoke.
voted on it.
I did. I have the right to vote on it.
I'm not so sure if that's true, but I don't think that, but I just say they should have been here then, and they should be here now.
Your point is well made. Any other discussion?
I agree. I wish they were here too. I mean, I'm in support of it completely. But and I don't even know if we've asked them to. I've never seen them here one way in general, but I believe they provide a great service for the community, for the town. They work phenomenally well with our EMS team, and I really think it's a good asset to the community.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. Item 18, consider a possible action on the contract for 2019 Central States Health and Welfare Fund, Teamsters Union employees and non-union health insurance. Total cost of the premium is $158,038. Basically, the rate is $365.30 the current year. The new increase takes it up to $370.90 per week per employee that's on it. And obviously, that's the cost of the contract. And then we have contracts that indicate to the rest of the membership what portion they're going to pay, whether it's a small portion. No. Questions, or motion or question?
I'll make a motion that we accept the 2018 or 19 contract.
Second.
Second, Andrew. Shirley, was there a real question on it particularly that I could try to help?
I guess, I still don't understand. So the town, the taxpayers are paying $158,000, or how is that?
Well, it's part of our benefits for their insurance.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the town is paying that much?
Right.
No.
No.
That's the total cost of the premium, and then the employees will pay a portion of that. That's to be
Okay,
determined.
okay.
Yeah.
So what portion are they going to pay?
That's still under negotiation, but later tonight, we might know the answer. I think that's part of our closed session to work out. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, opposed? No opposed. 19, Consider possible action on the 2019 Delta Dental contract, police union employees, dental insurance, 68,000, excuse me, let me try that one over. $6,823.80 annually, and again, that's part of their contract.
Make a motion to approve the contract 2019 for the Delta Dental for the police department.
Motion by Andrew,
I'll second.
second by Dan.
Discussion.
Discussion?
Yes, I have. So here's a check that we received, and Don usually speaks to this.
No, not this. This is Delta Dental.
Oh,
You're
okay.
talking about the other thing.
Okay, sorry about that.
I just was reading your mind, Bill.
I know
where you're going.
I got your glasses on.
That's okay, we're all part of
One
this.
off. Yeah.
So should the
I'm off.
motion indicate that it's for family?
No, that was just for your benefit, so I
Okay.
didn't think there was, I added wrong.
Because
Okay.
that could
It's a
change.
correction
Oh,
that
that's
Delta
true.
Dental
You
needs.
know, depending on the
Okay.
circumstances, that could,
Yeah,
throughout the year, that could
okay.
change.
Delta Dental's premium, yes.
Yeah, it
We had
didn't
motion
change at all
second.
from last.
Yes.
All right, any other discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye, any opposed? No opposed? Round 20. Consider possible action on the workers' compensation dividend check for 2017-18. We received $5,468 as a rebate because our employees were safe working, and William, you wanted to speak to that, did you?
Yes, well, that $5,468 that we received that check for. Usually there was a comment from the fire department and because of taking care of the workman's comp case about what to do with that, and I don't know what we decided last year, I can't remember, but you know, I know this sounds bad, but this is taxpayers' money that we sent there, and now it's to reward the people for not doing it. I think that's the wrong thing to do. I think tonight in closed session, we can do something because they are safe workers, but how about those people that don't work here now, and some people are gonna get a portion of this back, either in clothing or whatever.
Yeah, right, Bill, we can share with you this evening, part of our attorney's opinion as to whether this is good, bad, or indifferent if you care to. Okay, any other discussion on it? We'll table it for now. Consider possible action on the $6,500 to go to Reggie for 2019. I'll make the motion to support it. Motion by Patty, second by Patty. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. I'm an aye, any opposed? One opposed. And we'll turn the page. 21. We're on 22? 22. All right. Request by one employee, Cody Conover, to carry 16 hours over on vacation.
Make a motion to approve that per the employee handbook.
And that says no later than March. Is that what it? March 15th has to be used by. Any discussion? Any other, is there a second? Dan? Any other discussion?
So what is the reason he doesn't have enough time?
He didn't think he could get his vacation time in doing according to the schedule was. He was gonna try, but he wanted to be safe and say if he didn't get it in, that he was authorized to carry it over.
According to the handbook, they have to.
Have to notify us.
Have to notify us.
You know, vacation time is for rest and recreation. And this would come back to bite us, and it did one year, I remember, by not giving vacation back. I think employees should take their vacations at their scheduled time, and I don't believe in them selling them back either. But, I mean, I would.
We don't do that, do we?
vote
We don't do that, do we?
I don't think we ever have.
Oh, okay, not here, but I've known people to sell it back. But I still think people should be taking their vacation. I'm voting.
Okay, that's what it's for, to take. Agree with you. Motion was made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? 23, we're on set wages, part-time employees. Current rate is $15.65. If we use the CPI increase of 2.25%, that equals $16. What's your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve the $16. That's what was done at the.
First by Bill, second Andrew. The only time this typically will be used is when the snow plowers, we hire part-timers to supplement the full-timers, which we have three
Yes.
authorized full-time, or part-timers. All in favor, say aye. I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed? Item 24, set wages for 2019 for the election workers, currently at $10. It was increased last year from $9 to $10. I can't, you can, I have to announce that I cannot vote on it.
How frequently do we increase that?
In past histories, I mean, I would probably say there was probably 2 or 3 years previous to that. That
Not
would,
since I have been here, so at least 3 years when it was changed last year.
And then last year went from 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
They do a good job. I mean, it's-
And we did have the number of election workers for this last one was
37.
37, right. I don't think we overwork them.
I think Lisa tries to get those that don't want to work full days to work half days, which makes it a whole lot easier than trying to work a 16-hour shift.
Everybody works a half day except chief inspectors.
I'll make a motion to keep it at $10 an hour.
I'll second that.
Motion by Andrew, or Dan, seconded by Andrew to hold at $10 this year. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed? One abstention with myself. 25, set per diems for Plan Commission, Police and Fire Commission, Board of Appeals, Recycling and Solid Waste for 2019. Currently, they are at $55. Motion was made in 17 to, per diem to be 55, and the committee members were paid at 50. Okay.
Increased the committee members last year to 50 and kept the committee chair at 55.
What do we budget? More or less?
We budgeted the same, the 55 and 50. so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we keep the per diems the same, the $55 for the committee chair and $50 for committee members.
Second.
Motion been made. Dan, seconded by Andrew. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? Item 26, Board of Appeals, Bill Clendenning, would like to reappoint you, and Mark Thompson, reappoint him up to full-time status now that he's back in the area. Is there a motion to approve my appointment?
Second.
Motion by Patty, second by Andrew. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Am I any opposed? No opposed? 27, the November vouchers. Any questions, comments on the vouchers? I don't think I flagged anything this time. Hearing none, we will move on. To 28, operator license application. We have one for Tricia Hop, Bud's Corner Mart, and you'll note a comment from the chief on it, but it is approved.
So moved.
Motion by Bill, second by
I'll second.
Dan. Is there any discussion? We do understand that this may or may not stay for an entire year depending on the outcome, so whatever. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Any opposed? No opposed. 29. Public Works. All equipment is running. They were out. No equipment failures. Rick's truck is on hold. However, he had to change to a white truck because between one day and the next, they sold the two red ones that were there. He did have a discussion with me, and the city uses white trucks. I said, the only thing I would suggest is we put some reflective chevrons on the back of it with additional lighting. It should be suffice. They always have their flashing lights on when they're out anyway. So yeah, well, life is when you save $4,000. Somebody gets a sale in their hand. I think, Andrew, you might have some understanding of how that goes once in a while, huh? Any questions on Public Works? Move on to Airport Commission. Airport Commission did meet. The airport project for this year, which was primarily the apron and some lighting, is approximately 75% paved. The weather got to us. We did not get all the paving done, so it'll be sitting there till spring. We didn't intend to use it this winter anyway, so I guess. And we're still waiting for our overhead lights to light the aprons. The posts were set for it, but the poles are being made somewhere, shipped in from somewhere, and you know how that goes. But the new lighting on the airport will be all LED. The runways are all LED lit now, and then the tarmac, the parking area, will be lit with LED lights on it. We'll have 5 posts on it. 3 of them will be only turned on when it sees motion. So basically, if a plane's out in that area parking at night, then those lights will come on. 2 of those lights will remain on, which is close to where our fueling station is. The airport is in planning stage to build a large hangar. We've accepted Omni Engineering out of the Appleton area to work with a design contract with BOA in Madison to build a large hangar, which would be approximately 12,000 square foot. It may be a little larger, which is a 120 by 100. It's being designed so it'll have a 28-foot high door, which would then accept the largest of the Gulfstream corporate jets that have been coming in to the airport. As they certainly, most of them like to have their $50, $60 million planes under cover whenever it is. Of the $4 million that we received from the DOT, we have approximately $2.2 million available now, left over to build this hangar. We're also looking to build a larger fuel tank storage. We only have 10,000 gallon storage, and there's been weeks where we didn't make it to 3 days before we had to get another truck in. Unfortunately, we had one event that we had onslaught of planes come in and had to divert one plane to another fueling location because we were unable to fuel them. It doesn't happen often when you have just a few planes in, but when we're starting to do over 100,000 gallons of fuel already now with a 10,000 gallon tank, it's difficult to maintain it. So we're working on 2 plans for the summer. One plan would be to rent an auxiliary fuel truck, to have another fuel truck stand by that would have a 5,000 gallon storage capacity, and that would take us between the fuel trucks would have 8,000 gallons capacity, and then have a 8 to 10,000 in our tanks, which basically give us 15 to 16,000. The design of the new fueling system would be a minimum of a 20,000 gallon tank. It may even be larger so that we can accommodate and get the fuel loads in as soon as we can. And yes, I was going to ask if there are any questions.
There's talk there about annexation, a friendly annexation, non-contested annexation.
Yes.
And you know, we're the only township, and I am very much opposed to even talking about that, the annexation, especially without first talking to the town board about it. But I just think it's so wrong that annex it, and I don't know for what reason.
Well, if I could give you 30 seconds to explain the thought process. They do have a piece of property that was annexed into there so that the gentleman could build a hangar as sewer and water service to it. If this hangar does get built, it'll require water suppression, so we will need to have water for sure. And the idea is that if you have water there, you might as well have a restroom there. So the process is that we should consider the annexation. The terminal sits in the town of Grand Rapids, but it's been provided sewer and water service from the city for years without annexation, just similar to what they do with, I would say, mid-state technical colleges in the same situation where they're providing it. So whether it needs to be annexed or not, that's pretty much to the city's obligation, whether they were going to provide the water to the water suppression system in the hangar, and we may have to annex it. So that's the reason the discussion was being talked to myself and the mayor as to what do we need to do, because we can't sit here and tell the contractor to build a hangar and then not have water for it. That's the reason.
Golf Course Road, all that country estates, it's called, up in there, is all supplied by water from the city.
Yes.
And it belongs to the town of Grand Rapids.
Yes, and the reason why? They polluted their underground water there from the previous sewer treatment plant. Their water was contaminated, and they're paying for it, and they're even paying for hydrant fees, and just like everybody else in that area. So they're not getting it free, but they did provide it to them without annexation because they were actually forced to it by.
So it's three things have to be met in annexation. You must want to go, they must want you, and you must be accepted then.
Mm-hmm.
So, since this is town of Grand Rapids, I serve on a town of Grand Rapids board, and we just heard about an annexation. The supervisor next to me said, I don't like annexations, it takes lands from it. I don't like it either. I don't even think that should be considered. What I think should be considered in there is the city should come forward and provide the water.
That may happen. We need to find out how they're going to react to it. I mean, certainly we can't build a hangar this summer if we don't have water to it.
That's my thought.
Long and short of it. So we needed to follow the legal process that it needs to go. That's the only reason that I had a discussion with the mayor at all about it. It was for him to consider what do we need to do. Maybe he'll put it on the agenda to provide water to it, just like they did for the terminal with a fee. Any other discussion on the airport? Moving on then, recycling solid waste. You have anything new, Bill?
No.
Planning Commission, Patty, anything new?
And we did not meet this month, we'll be meeting in January.
Public Buildings, Dan?
We actually did have a meeting, and we met with, I guess it was a couple residents from the West Lawn subdivision and their ideas regarding that, we'll call it our Omi Park in the Grand Rapids. It's in the West Lawn subdivision, and they are looking at putting up a pavilion, possibly putting in some playground equipment. It's all in the planning stage yet. They're trying to they are going to look to do some fundraising. Once they did bring a tentative proposal to the Public Buildings Committee and with some ideas of what they're looking at. And we, like I said, there's no action needed at this time. I just wanted to let the board know that there is some activity out there in the citizens, and if anybody is interested in donating or anything towards that project, get in touch with me, and I'll get a hold of the residents who are spearheading that. But they're looking to expand, or not expand the park, but just kind of add a few things to it.
Were they going to work through Encourage or anybody? What were their plans?
Yeah, and I
Don't know.
do you remember, Bill?
Well, if I may just add something here. The guy by the name of Adams that works in the Parks Department, zoning department anyways, who lives in that subdivision. And he's in charge of recreational things, and he put them on the list so they can now get grants.
Oh, okay.
So it's, it'll come through there.
And I,
What is his last name?
Dashik or something like that?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't remember, they were working through, and I can't, just the name escapes me, who they were working through as far as who's gonna handle the funds and through the fundraising. Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Yeah, so I'll get that to the,
Did you have any tentative drawing or anything that you had?
we did, yeah.
Could you show that?
And I can get that to the board, I didn't bring it tonight, but I'll get it to the members.
Normally you got a packet about 3 inches high.
I know, at the wrong folder.
All right, any other,
We have, all the buildings seem to be in pretty good shape. We're looking at doing something for our, couple of rooms with some heat and air conditioning, but overall, everything seems to be good.
Okay, legislative committee did meet. You saw the results at this meeting. There's still some other things on our agenda that are being worked on, so we'll keep that going. Public safety, Andrew.
Yep, we did meet. We had kind of three things that we discussed. First was the rescue squad in regards to any issues that could come up if the rescue squad loses funding come 2019. We want to be prepared for that. Talking with Chief Pyatt, the committee had some lengthy discussions about what services we provide and what services they provide. It was kind of concluded that we rely upon them significantly for doing vehicle extrication and traffic crashes in the town. And we do have equipment to do those things, but we definitely rely upon them for that. The chief is going to be looking at what additional training we can do to implement on that if we do lose the rescue squad, or what additional equipment we may need to purchase. It sounds like we would be able to function, but that would be something we'd be looking at. The other thing we did talk about is water and ice rescue. If we lose rescue, that is something we're also going to need to look at. We don't have a boat. We don't have a way to go out and do rescue. It is extremely concerning to me that we have Lake Wazeecha in our township, and our fire department does not have a boat to gain access to that water. We rely upon other municipalities to do that, and rescue predominantly being expert in area of water rescue. They do all the stuff for the water ski show that's held there, for the state water ski show annually. They have watercraft on the water to do that. That's going to be a concern as well. So we did have some discussion. The chief is going to kind of, if you would, take inventory of what other services we can lean on in terms of mutual aid agreements with other townships, municipalities, surrounding areas as to what equipment we do have that's close by, how far away it is, how accessible it is, and what we can get access to should we need it. After we do that, we are going to continue to work with the chief, getting back as to what we think after we get that back, what do we need, and if we need anything to supplement that. I'm in favor of us potentially going to getting a boat or a watercraft of some type to gain access to the water rapidly if we need to, but really want to see what comes back with the chief's findings on what other municipalities have that we can use. The other thing we talked about was Project Lifesaver Program. Project Lifesaver Program is ran by the Wood County Human Service, or Health Department, Health Department, and it is a program that helps people that have mental illnesses or any type of maybe autism or things where they would have a tendency to wander off and not be able to care for themselves. It's a banded program. They wear a band or a device that they can search for these individuals with tracking. That is also a function that the Wood County Rescue Squad assists with during the rescue operations if someone were to go missing on that program. Out of all of the Wood County Project Lifesaver, there's 30 some, I want to say it was 36 people. Get me solid on the number. It's 36 or 38. Was it? How much?
You gave me 43.
Was it 43? Okay.
11 in Grand Rapids.
And 11 in Grand Rapids. There we go. So there's 43 people on the program. 11 of them are in Grand Rapids. So we have several of them right in our town. The idea was to have the chief look into communicating with the coordinator for the program and getting a couple of fire department members trained up on using the devices, and then us getting some equipment. It's all funded by Project Lifesaver. There will be no cost to us to do it for the equipment or the training. That would be provided. The only thing would be the volunteer firefighter members going to probably at least a 1 if not maybe 1 to 2 day training on how to use the device. And then we would store those at our department. That's still in discussion, and we'll probably come back to the board. And it sounds like Chairman may want a presentation on that as to how that would work and those things. So that's still in the works. We also talked about fire department equipment replacement plan. The chief is going to work on this plan and getting something together during our budgeting experience this year. One thing I really think that we need to do, and we talked about it at the committee, is get together a plan for developing a process for what we want to do with our fire trucks and their replacement, 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year plan, what we're going to need for some capital expenses and things like that. So we as a board, when we're forecasting and planning our budget, have some ideas on what we might be able to save for or look for in the future. So the chief's going to work with the committee on getting that put together, and we're in the real early stages of that. And that was pretty much the extent of our meeting. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you pretty much got it. I guess one of the things that brought to light, I think, Bob, you were able to determine when they talked about rescue squad, and because of duplication of services, it may be gone away, but really we found out there is no other certified divers at any agency, is there, other than possibly the city?
The city city will not go below surface on ice.
City doesn't either, so there is.
The city will do mutual aid with us for a water rescue if they can see them, or they're on top of the ice or the water. If they're under the water, the city will not do anything for us.
So the long and short of it is the only ones that have that are certified to go underwater is the rescue squad personnel now, from what we found out.
Found so far, I've got a couple more departments to call, but Buren has a boat. They only do surface rescue, and I believe Nakusa only does surface rescue as well.
Okay. That's kind of one of the shocking things that we found out. So, anyway, anything else? Questions on public safety?
Questions, anybody?
Patty, any news on economic development, other than we do have a new commercial building going up, huh?
54.
Yeah, I saw it on 54. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Monroe.
Monroe, that's right. That's starting, and yeah, we did that at the plan commission meeting, not last meeting, but the meeting before.
Right.
Good. Nothing else, I assume? Pretty quiet right now.
Yeah.
Personnel committee, any meetings?
Yeah, personnel did meet, working out on some working agreements with some of our exempt employees.
Okay. Any questions? Bill, were you at WTA meeting? I was not.
Yes, I was at the town of Arpin held it. It was at the village of Arpin. And who was there was Officer Zerflu, and also the pre-elected sheriff was there at it. And they talked about snowmobile safety and snowmobile, how they held some classes on that. Were they at the fire department? Did they have our meeting? Is that what people had
The Kellner Knights just held a class, snowmobile class.
And they go out, and it's surprising. 83% of the expenses are reimbursed through licensing and stuff like that. It was quite interesting on what all they do. And also there was, the legislators were there, Senator Testman and Vandermeter were there, and they were explaining 9 reasons why they were having an extraordinary session, and went over those issues. And they was indicating that they were just bills that haven't been passed before that probably needed some looking at. And the next one's going to be in Auburndale.
Any questions? Hearing not. Item 30, reports from individual board members. Andrew, you got anything else you wanted to add tonight?
I did attend that meeting with the MMDM, the Deer Management Program.
Okay.
They're working out through some issues with some things they're kind of going through with the city of Rapids. We are going to be continuing to meet, and I'll be continuing to go to those meetings and follow up on anything that's going on and bring it back. Just kind of yesterday we had the meeting that's kind of just bringing up to speed as to what's going on with the program this year, how it's doing, and what things are going on.
Sorry. Currently, they're not hunting, is that correct? They don't hunt until after the first of the year, is that?
No, they are hunting.
They are.
They've had several harvests this year. There are some changes to Rapids' procedures, so they're working through some changes in their organization, how they're gonna deal with that. And that's kind of what they're gonna wanna meet about, and kind of, they'd like to get together, eventually have a meeting with all the municipalities and kind of come together in terms of what, just kind of get on the same page and get a more so an agreement put together. I have checked with Lisa's gonna check to see if we do have anything. Do you recall any type of signed agreement that we had or anybody had with that group at any point, and if we'd have that on file?
We must have it, because I do remember us having an agreement that we signed 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, 3-4 years ago, we did an update when he was
so.
here.
And we've actually had this in place probably, Bill, it's gotta be 10 years or better, right?
Yes.
There is something,
Because Dave Hartris was on it years and years ago, I remember that.
and Dan, can't think of his last name. He was out here and did a presentation.
Yeah.
Yep, Dan Hobbs.
Dan Hobbs,
Yeah.
yep.
And he's still in charge of the program now. And I think what they're looking at is redoing something to that effect and incorporating some of the changes of Rapids and just switching some things around a little bit.
Their contact with the DNR has been retired now, so now they're having to work with a new person as far as how things go.
I think they're just ironing out some kinks and stuff like that.
Bill, anything?
Yes, I would just like to talk about the upcoming county board meeting on the 18th of December, in which there's going to be public comment. We also have 15 resolutions to pass that day. And if you're for or against the rescue squad, please show up. I've gotten probably as many as 25 calls on it. I receive very few of them that are against it or why it even existed, but please come, and it's very important that you express your opinions. There's a lot of talk going on about it, but and also there's some other controversial resolutions coming up that I think are controversial in my opinion. And one of them is ATV routes and ATV and what the county is going to be spending on these routes. And that's going to probably be a very lengthy discussion. So just like to invite you to come to that.
And that is at 9 a.m., and it's in Branch 3? Is that where it is? Where you hold it?
Oh, yes, yes.
In Branch 3, that's third floor? That's third floor?
Third floor.
December 18th.
December 18th. I'll be there. Daniel, anything else?
Just a quick note.
I'd like to wish the board and all the citizens a Merry Christmas and a safe and happy New Year. It has been a good year, I think productive year as far as this town board, and appreciate all the conversation and back and forth. And also keep watering your trees. As the season gets slower and the live trees start taking less water, they become a little more tender. So, make sure we water them, and like you said, the fire chief said keep accesses, doorway shoveled, and that it makes a big difference when you're middle of the night when you're trying to gain entry. So
Even artificial trees.
yeah, keep your artificial tree watered down.
Danny?
I just wanted to comment that I did not receive any complaints for the snow plows on their first time out this year. So they did a nice job on that. I did receive one comment that they were asking if they could put more salt, or not so much salt, but sand on 45th Street coming out on W, because of the fact that when they're coming out on W, they can't get the momentum to go out, and then once their tires catch, then they're out. So
I
if
think
they
we-
could just sort of
Yeah.
take a look at that.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up. If you get those calls, just text Rick and let him know.
Okay.
Because I had a couple other comments, and even though it was on a county road, which 45th is the road, we still take care of the stop signs there, even though the stop sign belongs to the county, but we feel it's the obligation of the town to keep us safe. So, and I had that one comment, and I told him I'd call Rick. soon as I called Rick, Rick said, oh, Blake's calling me. So, I mean, whether he didn't believe that I was gonna call him or not, that's what it is.
On Lake Avenue, I see that the county went in there and did their brine, and then came out.
Oh, they did, huh?
Yeah, they went in there because they own a portion of that,
Yeah.
just like on 40, any street that comes out to them.
That is a pretty shaded corner.
And that was pretty neat that they did that.
Yeah, very good.
Sounds
And I
good.
just want to wish everyone a happy holiday.
Thank you. Now, my comment is to follow up on Dan's, the fires in homes. 1/3 of every fire during the Christmas season that has been started has been by candles. So also want to remind everybody, if you're burning candles, don't forget about them. I know years ago, we came close to having a serious thing when we left one of those big candles burning all night long. We got up the next morning, it was down to about this far, because we didn't see it. And it can happen to anybody, but be safe, be careful, and I wish everybody a safe holiday. Amy, you got anything? I didn't ask you. And Lisa, you have any? All right, we will move to public comment period. Anybody else in the audience wish to speak this evening? Hearing not, town boards are going to go into closed session. Pursuits 1985, Prin 1, Prin C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility for the purpose of discussion responsibilities and consider compensation and benefits to all town employees, and to discuss working agreements with the fire chief, police chief, clerk, and treasurer.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Patty. Second by Andrew. Roll call vote. Andrew.
Aye.
Arnie, aye. Patty.
Aye.
Dan, aye. Bill, aye. Art. Oh, Art doesn't get to vote.